At the age of 7, I was told that I could be anything I wanted to be, once I worked hard enough. At the age of 10, I started questioning the statement when my male friends told me I couldn't play football because I was a girl. I didn't understand that society placed men and women into two very different categories. At age 12, I realized I lived in a society where equality was a fantasy. I am 16 now, and throughout my life, I have felt as though I didn't have a voice, as though my gender restricted me from reaching my full potential, as though my future was not mine to control. Through all of this, I have always known that I was one of the lucky ones. I had strong people in my life who loved me unconditionally despite my gender, people who never underestimated me because I might give birth one day. People who taught me that my voice and my opinions matter. People who taught me that my gender does not define me, but my actions do. I am one of the lucky ones. But what about those who don't have luck on their side? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tia Bramble, and I believe that gender equality and empowerment in all women and girls is the most important goal for long-term development. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with conscience and reason and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. However, we know that this is not the case. Women are underrepresented, underappreciated, and underestimated on a daily basis. Equality is still just an idea in many countries when it should be a reality. As a woman myself, I believe that we deserve the rights to our own body and future. We deserve the rights to an education. We deserve to be seen as equals to our male counterparts. In many communities around the world, girls are not valued as much as boys. They are seen as a burden or an inconvenience. Because of this, parents tend to marry their daughters at a young age, to ease economic hardship and to transfer their burden onto another's family. According to girlsnotbrides.org, 1 in 3 girls in developing countries are said to be married before the age of 18. Over 700 million women alive today were married as children. Girls around the world grow up thinking that all they will ever be is a wife. When a child is married at a young age, her childhood and her future are abruptly taken away from her. She doesn't get a say in the type of life she gets to lead. But if we empower girls, we could change a girl's future. If we give girls the tools they needed to succeed and help them reach their full potential, we could end child marriage. We could give a girl a future, one that's full of promise and potential, not sorrow and despair. If you empower a woman, you give her the chance to contribute ideas to help strengthen her society. If there is no reduction in child marriages, the global number of women married as children will be 1.2 billion by 2050. The population of the world is estimated to be 9.7 billion by then. That means that 12% of girls would have been married before the age of 18 by 2050. We live in an age where women are capable of doing anything and everything. So shouldn't we give girls the opportunity they deserve? In a small city in India called Bangalore, there is a girl. Her name is Karthika. She is one of the few girls in her community who have had access to an education. After she finished her secondary level education, she went on to study law. She chose law because she felt that it would be an important tool in empowering her community. And with the knowledge she gained, that's exactly what she did. Her village lies next to a quarry that's to be seized by the government. This is a village of nearly 200 families that have been living in this location for almost 20 years. The problem was that her village were unaware of their rights and that they could gain control over the land they were living on. Through the education she gained, she understood that they had a legitimate claim on the land they were living on. She raised the issue with her mentor, and now she is fighting for the rights of her community. This is what women can achieve when they are treated as equals and are given the rights to an education. They can change the world. To empower a woman is to empower a nation. Invest in a woman and she will invest in her family and community. In some communities around the world, girls are sent to work for their families, while boys are sent to school. Girls with no education are 3 times as likely to be married before the age of 18 than those who have obtained a secondary or higher level education. Empowering girls by sending them to school will not only improve their way of life, but it will improve their community's way of life. With an education, they will be able to contribute ideas to their community, and in turn, further better with their way of life. According to globalpartnership.org, 131 million girls worldwide remain out of school. In communities around the world, girls are being taught to be the perfect bride, or the perfect wife, or the perfect mother. They're being taught how to cook and clean. They're not being taught about their rights and the opportunities that await them outside of marriage. What would happen if a woman had the same rights as a man? What would happen if gender equality became a reality? We are in the 21st century. Gender equality should not still be an issue, yet women are still not being paid the same as their male counterparts. Women in power face unequal pay and discrimination. According to the Irish Times, the pay gap between men and women in Ireland is 14.4%. On average, across the EU in 2013, women earned 16.4% less than men. If a woman works just as hard as a man, why is she being paid less than him? If she shows up on time, manages her work well, and contributes to the company's success, why is she being paid less than him? Because she is a woman? These discriminatory actions discourage women from contributing to society. We cannot better our world when half of our population is forced to silence. Michelle Obama once said, "No country can truly ever flourish if it stifles the potential of its women and deprives itself of the contribution of half of its population." How do we as a society expect to flourish when half of our population are left without their rights? Society portrays men and women as polar opposites. But why? We are all human. If a woman is powerful and voices her opinion, she is seen as a dictator. But if a man does the same thing, he is seen as a boss. A woman is seen as bossy, while a man is seen as a boss. Little girls around the world grow up in silence because of the fear of being seen as bossy. Women are more than the child they might bear someday. We are strong and powerful. We deserve equality. Little girls around the world deserve to grow up feeling empowered. If we want to change the world, we need to empower the world. We need to give everyone an equal opportunity to change the world, because if we don't, we won't save it and the people in it. In today's world, women are not being treated as equals. They are seen as nothing more than a burden. I stand before you today as one of the lucky ones, and I ask you to imagine, what if it was you? Or your sister, or your daughter, or your mom? What if the tables were turned? What if you weren't one of the lucky ones? What if you were a woman? What if? Throughout my life, I have met many strong and powerful women. From my mother, to my sisters, to my cousins, aunts, teachers, and peers, my life has always been influenced by incredibly strong-willed and powerful women. Because of them, I am the girl who stands before you today. It is important for young girls around the world to be surrounded by women who have been given the opportunity to access an education and the freedom to empower themselves, allowing them to further empower their community, especially the women around them. Kofi Annan once said, "Gender equality is more than a goal in itself. It is a precondition for meeting the challenge of reducing poverty, promoting sustainable development, and building good governance." Freedom cannot be achieved unless women are emancipated from all forms of oppression. The world cannot thrive unless we value each other and see each other as equals. Women must be able to participate in all aspects of their community if we want to make the world a fairer place. Men and women play different roles in society, but their rights are equal. We are all equal. Thank you.